My name is Tyler Pham, and I'm a senior at Cypress Ridge High School and the Shepherd of Zion 1. From the very beginning, I considered myself agnostic, but my parents were Buddhists but never forced their religion on me. From the start, I felt very empty and felt like I needed something in my life. It felt as if something was missing. I thought all the time that I had nothing to work for and practically no motivation to do anything. One day during quarantine, I saw a friend of mine from middle school, who I didn't really talk to much, post a Snapchat story of him playing guitar. I swiped up and told him he was very good. Then somehow it led to him inviting me over to his house. Eventually, we became really close friends and we would talk all the time. I would go over to his house practically every day, even though it was a long drive. Eventually, one of our topics of conversation would lead to religion. I told him how I had no motivation for anything and told him my thoughts about life after death. He then brought up the idea of Christianity. It had something to live and work for and offered a loving community of other people who would be willing to listen to your problems. He introduced the idea of house church, a place where you can talk to a group of people and just talk about your week. It seemed like a great way to relieve most of my stress, so I was open to the idea and attended my first house church. After that, one thing led to another. He got me to eventually sign up for Overflow, then Praise and Prayer, then Movement, then eventually mission trips. After my trip to New Mexico, something inside me changed, and I just had the sudden urge to lead. After the trip, I immediately went straight to PJ and asked if I could lead, but unfortunately, it was too late for me. I was already a senior, and it was too late to consider me an intern shepherd. I was kind of saddened to hear this, but over time, I prayed about it. Eventually, house church changes were made, and many house churches were split, and I was blessed to receive the offer of shepherding. Placed in Z1, I was excited to lead a group of high schoolers in their faith. But during our first house church, I barely spoke a word. I was pretty sad about the memories I made with Z6 and how I had to let it go. It was okay though, because eventually these new changes would work out in the end. My journey in faith has been one wild ride, and I have experienced many things I would like to share. As a shepherd, I too have struggled with my faith. I'd be lying if I were to tell you I had remained faithful throughout these years. Like everyone here, I've fallen into temptation and sin. Even as a shepherd, I struggled to balance school, baseball, and my social life, and shepherding into a week's worth of time. Some days I would have thoughts that questioned the existence of God. My past agnostic side of me would take over and I would question what I was doing. But what made me stay faithful was the people around me. Before this, I practically had nobody to talk to. I couldn't talk to my friends about any of my problems because it felt like they wouldn't take me seriously, and I couldn't tell my parents anything either because they would brush some of my problems off as minor inconveniences. I realized that God placed these people into my life for a reason. He placed these people into my life so that I could talk to them and share my struggles too. I compared my life before I attended this church and after, and realized how much I changed. I had made so many more friends and become a lot more social. I've been a lot more happier because I have a place I can release all of my stress to. My life literally changed. So every time that I have some sort of doubt within my heart about God, I think about what He has done for me. I think about my life without the people He has placed in my life. The journey He put me on was crazy to think about, and I would like to thank everyone who has helped me through this journey, including the people from Z6 and Z1. Thank you.